Unbiased Trades here, and I'm just going to take you through trade journals and why you should be using them, my setup for them, like the kind of columns and stuff I put, and what software I use. So first off, I really recommend using trading journals. They benefit you as a trader so much. You get to really think about your trades, see what your mistakes are, see what your strengths are, how you're progressing, any unique things that you did wrong or you did great. And just overall, it's a great way to clear your mind, think very straightforward about your trades, and that's how it should be. So let's get into it. I use Notion to track my trades. If you're a student like me, I'm in uni, so I use Notion for my notes, but you could be using it for businesses or anything like that. I think Notion is great for note taking. There are other apps that you can use that I think are pretty good as well, but for me, Notion's just easier. I think they have some great features and additions. So this is my setup. So at first I put the ticker, which is obviously very useful. I put the feeling. So normally if it was a good day, but I made like one mistake, two mistakes, I'll put it as a good day or a good trade, I mean. And if I made a lot or if I made a big mistake, then obviously I put it as a thumbs down and it won't be a great day. Next, I put the date. You need to be able to track what days these traders are, and then that also means you can go back and look at the charts, and it's quite easy to do. Next, I put my setup, and I put the setup rating. For the setup, it's just very useful to be able to look through all the trades that I did for that setup and see like how I've been doing, if there's been any common mistakes, or like if I'm actually doing great on it. I don't know. It's just very good to be able to check through. And then for the rating, this isn't very like I do statistics tracking, so on my Excel sheet I'll normally put like this was a 4 out of 6 trade or 5 out of 6 trade with the criteria. But on Notion it's more just like a general feeling. If I feel like it played out very well, I'll put it a 3 star. If I feel like it played out really badly, I'll put a 1 star. So this isn't so much for me anyway, like a setup, like how good the setup was, but how well it played out. So if there was enough range and those kind of criteria. Next, I put an extra point tab, and I think this is very useful. It's really good to just give you a sense of what you're doing good at. And for those unique problems, you can note them down very easily. And I think that's really, really useful in trading because most of it is unique problems or they are problems that are rooted from the same cause, but they come out in different ways. And it's very useful to be able to see those in different ways and not just say, oh, it's because I'm greedy or something like that. Next, I put strengths and weaknesses. This is really useful in Notion. You can make a multi-select, and I just type in my most common strengths, my most common weaknesses, or whatever I did for the day. And most of the time, I have patience up there. And for this trade as well, I had good levels, risk management, followed the plan, good ads, taking stops, and a great exit. So today I can see quite easily that, oh, wow, okay, I've got a lot more strengths than weaknesses on this trade. This was a good trade. And I can look over it and see how I did. Or the opposite could be true, where if I had a lot of weaknesses on one trade, I could see, okay, this is where I'm, making the most mistakes. Why is that? Was it just I was feeling emotional? Or, I can look more into it. Next, I put the market and the float. I just like this. I like to be able to see quickly, was this stock a low float or high float? Is there anything different compared to my normal stocks I trade? And it's just, I find it very easy to look at and just get some like general assumptions about it. Next, I do, in the Notion page, you can attach charts. So I normally attach my intraday, so my 1 minute and my daily. This is something you really should be doing. You should be saving all your charts you trade or posting them on Twitter or something like that. Just a way that you can track them and look back on. But I think journaling them is just easier, and it means that you can look at the trade straight away. You can just, see, oh, this was my best trade recently. Let's see how I did. Or this is my worst. Let's see how I did. And also the daily chart is very important because you want to see, you should already have a setup that has a daily pattern, or you're looking for something on the daily, but you can see if it's changing, like of recent months. Is it, I don't know, it's very specific to your setup, but it's very useful, trust me. Just for me, it's been incredibly useful to see like how these daily charts are kind of changing or looking similar, and how they change over cycles. So if you're trading small caps like me, winter's normally way hotter for small caps, and they're going to run a lot longer than in summer. And in summer, they won't do much, but they'll pop and then pretty much die. So it's like two different cycles. Sometimes there's even three. And it's really useful to keep track of. And then obviously your intraday is just self-explanatory. It's very useful to see how you traded and how it looked on the 1 minute compared to other charts. Lastly, I do a mistakes list. And I think this is very important to do as well, is that you can look back on the day and be like, okay, what were the mistakes I made today? So the two mistakes on this day was shorting too early on open and shorting too low on the candle. So I can see if I did those again the next day, I'll put it in the did again category. So for example, I wasn't patient for my PT, or I held my entry too long after I was proven wrong. So this I can see easily what are the main things I need to focus on at the moment. Obviously, you don't want to forget about all the other rules, but I can see what ones are hurting me the most at the moment. And then lastly, I can see what I didn't do, and I can feel better and be like, oh, look, I didn't do all these mistakes. That's really good. And also, if I did do those mistakes again, I can put them back on today's mistake instead of creating a new one. So if I did emotional trading, for example, today, I'll put it back in today's mistake. And then if I did it again, I'll put it in the did again section. So I think this is very useful, just so you can see, what you're doing at the moment. Like, is there a specific reason why you're doing these mistakes? And just, looking more into your psychology, I think is great for trading. And that's about it. This is just my way of journaling. If you've got a different way, let me know down in the comments. But I hope you benefited in some way, and make sure to journal your trades.